10th edition of Droidcon Italy, and we can't wait to have you all with us in Torino next week because it's just a week away from here, the next edition of Droidcon Italy. We're going to meet at the Italian Innovation Hub in Torino on the 12th and the 13th of October. And today we have for the warm up with us Carla Bleiz, who's going to talk about the interaction between users, developers, and designers. Welcome, Carla. How are you?
Thanks. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I'm great, thank you. So this is a worldwide warm up because you're in Buenos Aires right now, is it?
Yeah, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Yeah, we have
Great.
Queens now.
Yeah, here not really. It's a long summer. And I wanted to introduce you to the audience. You've been working for some years now, like more than 7 years, I recall, on projects from starting from the ideas, ending with the developers, with all the process in between, designers, but I guess even project managers. So that's what you're going to talk about with us today, right?
Yeah, yeah. I wish I would
And
use some strategies that would solve that breach.
and And does this talk come from your experience, or did you get it from other people that told you stories about nightmares between developers and designers or whatever?
Sorry, say again.
Is it does the topic of today's talk come from your own experience or from other people telling you
Uh,
stories?
Both, because yeah, it was like useful for me to think tools and strategies to uh, build a bridge between us. But also, I saw many developers that struggle with the same problem, or designers as well, and it's a common topic that
Yeah,
we
it's
need
very
to have a common understanding about. Right?
yeah, that's really fascinating to how to find a common strategy, a common ground between developers and UX. I'm very curious. I'm very happy to be here to see what you're going to tell us about this. Okay, so I think we can almost start. We remind the people that you can ask whatever related to the topic in the question box on YouTube, and we are going to ask Carla to reply later. So
Yeah, great.
Carla, you're free to go, and we're free to listen to what you have to tell us between on the relationship between development and UX. Thank you very much. See you
Yeah,
later.
thank you. Thank you for having me. Here we are. I'm sorry. Here we are. So, as we said, um, we need to, in a project, it's paramount to have that clear path between uh, from design to development. So the goal is to explore the strategies and tools that could make the workflow more efficient and to foster communication along the team dynamics, right? So in this dynamic is where the synergy really happens. But first, I'm going to let you know something about me. I want to introduce myself. I'm Carla, as I said, I'm from Argentina, from Buenos Aires in South America. Um, Apart from UX, I'm a UX lover, but apart from UX, you can find me pursuing other passions like dancing, theater, cooking. I love trying new recipes. I love learning languages. Now my current challenge is Russian, so it's going hard, but it goes. So and I love traveling as well. It's a part of getting to know other cultures. And another thing about me is that I love interacting with developers. And as we you may know, this is, we were talking about that. It can be a challenge to to have that relationship and to be aligned in that relationship. So the idea of this talk is to provide or to think together some strategies and tools. So I could suggest that involving developers right from the start of the design stage would solve everything, but that could be an oversimplification. We really need to build bridges at every step along the way. What do I mean by that? So if you as developers are included from start to the finish, um, when we as designers hand things off to you, you will be incredibly aware of what you are getting, right? And you will have more commitment and you will be more motivated because maybe you can give some ideas that may help the project. So, in this sense, um, that we can avoid different pain points, let's say, in the relationship, which are back and forth or unrealistic designs out of scope that are not aligned with the technical and time specifications or limitations, and misaligned goals as well. So to make that bridge, to build that bridge, to know how to build a better bridge, we need to know what rivers we need to cross, right? So I spoke to some developers, and in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day job, I, um, I have that relation in the day-to-day, and these are some of the pain points that they have in this topic. Let's say lack of clarity in design documentation, um, requirements are not clear, and interactions are not clear. So maybe there are inconsistent design elements or specification which are needed to make different states or different transitions or in general how to move this from screen to screen. So in general, lack of information, lack of documentation uh, about what to build, the details to know what to build, right? Then we have other problems about assets, like icon images, as are not, that may slow down the process if you as developers need to ask for each iconic images for to a designer. It can lead some delay in the process. Poor communication in general, that can lead misunderstandings or make the process not as efficient. So once we know which the rivers are, we need to think about could we cross those rivers, right? So despite of our backgrounds, because of our skills, day-to-day tasks, we need to create a shell language um, in which we can be aligned. Let's say a language that can unify us as an entity, developers and designers as an entity. And what's that common language? I guess it can be related to the project language. We need to have in mind that the project language is our shared language, where we have the goals, the priorities, the scope, the schedule. So having a shared language would allow us to call things by the same name, right? To be familiar, or to need to be familiar with the terms and technical language of the other field as well. It would be very useful so that we can understand the whole process. Regarding the goals, we can have different milestones, but the goal needs to be the same for both, right? Uh, Setting priorities may allow us to work in sync and know what the process of the other team are and what they are working on, and it's important to have that in mind. Then, as we mentioned before, we need to know the scope and limitations so that we can make, as designers, we can design things that can be achievable, let's say, that they are technically possible and they are aligned with the goal of the project as well. Your developers could help designers so much in terms of uh, providing with the constraints and the project may have, um, and so that we can be aware from the start, right? And we could design together a solution that is efficient for us, for everyone. And of course, the schedule is important to have a common understanding because we can adapt our processes to the others. I don't know in which sprint you are working on. It's important to be aware of the sprint, of the internal structure of the team, so that I can adapt my processes to yours and building something in between. So, a shared language may allow us having getting to know the other group, the other co-workers, the other people we're working with, right? But now we have a shared language and we understand each other. We need to set a shared direction, where to go, like a common direction, where to move forward. Um, and that destination we have to take into account that developers and designers will be collaborating from the problem definition. And the best way is to be collaborating from the problem definition to the solution requirements. But always, the final destination where we need to get is the user needs, the user's uh, problem. We are designing products for people to use them and to solve problems. So we can have different goals, but the final goal, we can have different milestones to achieve a goal. And the main goal is the user, is the problem that the user has. And with all that, we can have different processes around the teams, but we need to if in UX, for instance, we always talk about human interaction and empathy and how we can solve user and people problems. We need to bring, as designers, we need to bring that to life in terms of relationships within the team as well. We need to be aware of what's going on with the other team, with the other people we're working on. And having a shared process could allow us to adapt, as I said before, adapt our own processes. I don't mean giving away like your whole process, But I mean, adapting our own process to have a process in between both teams, right? So that we can maybe reviews, but reviews we need to set up that process for interaction from the beginning, and then we know where to have that stages of reviews. So, how could you organize that process? For meetings, channels, milestones, deliverables. Shall we have kickoff, alignment, review, planning, weekly, back-based meetings, or shall we use Slack or Hangouts? It always depends on the team, on the company, on the project. We can't set a rigid process that works for everyone. But we need to. The important thing here, the essential thing, is that we have to all things, meetings, channels, milestones, deliverables, should be agreed between teams, right? We can't change ways to work and processes and internal organizations. But the point is that it needs to be shared. It needs to be agreed. We need to define together all the processes um, in terms of making the workflow more efficient. Like, I mean, we need to ask you as developers what helps you to work faster, where to locate files, or what I don't know. What things that I could do as a designer may help to work more efficiently. Involving you from the beginning would help you have a map of the project. So maybe if you see at the beginning that something is particularly difficult to build, or otherwise, even if you know something similar, may turn it much more easier if you know another from another place that's the same feature or the same element or the same interaction, or even if you want to give some ideas about what to build or how to build. So it's essential to have that connection from the start of the project, and to to have that checkpoint in the whole process. The whole process that is shared and agreed. So, in terms of channels, we can use different channels and ways. Let's say in Slack, we can use threads for different topics or different conversations, but without avoid opening different conversations from the same topic. Like, we need to have that order in terms of information in general. Maybe with a project is ended, we can put a link. So this is something we need to agree. And to have, we talk about deliverables, and we talk about things to be detailed and to be in the middle of the project. We need to have a shared understanding, right, from what to build, the details to do that, right? We need to provide and have clarity on what to build. So here are some tools that are very useful for me in my case. you can use different tools, but the important thing is you need to show the interaction between elements. It can be for flows, diagrams, but the interaction line should be shown so that development has a clear idea of what to build. Uh, if, if you have the possibility, the designers have the possibility, it's useful also to show it in action, let's say in a prototype or in a UX demo, to showcase the interactions and explaining as well while interacting the features, the use cases, and all the details so that the developers could watch it as many times as they want. Then another tool is custom thumbnails that are useful to organize your file. It's faster for you as developers to have that image and that icons and that thumbnails to look for a specific screen. You can look for it faster. Maybe if you are looking for specific components. And another tool is making a design checklist where you have that you may have consistently in every project you are working on to ensure everything that development needs is in place and there is no need to rush. As we always rush, we always have rush. So in that way, you make sure you have everything in place, and you don't need to rush last minute. And about the tools, I don't know if you use Figma or Zeppelin or what, I don't know the tools that you are using, but the main thing is that you should make the most of the tools. Like in my case, I use sections to organize the file, and it's always make the workflow more efficient because developers are up to date on changes. As you can change the tag ready for dev. And it's very useful for them to know, for you as developers, to know the roadmap. Where in that way we are providing development with a roadmap on what to build. The same happens with comparison, the changes comparison, which is a tool is from the new version of Springboard dev mode. I know that Zeppelin also has something similar, so you should check it out. And also for export assets that may slow down the process, as we talked before. Figma identifies the icons and images as assets ready to export and download. And another tool that is useful is links and resources that you can add to your dev mode, so that maybe you can have the Jira and you can have the field more organized and the workflow more solid. So beyond the tools and features which evolve and shouldn't be bound to. If we don't have all that, let's say, agile language, agile direction, agile process, we could never achieve agile understanding, regardless of the tools, of having good tools. We need to have a bridge. We need to build the bridge. So, and if we have all that, we need to talk about more about an integration instead of a handoff. Between we are not talking about something that is a responsibility from one stage from the other, and it's not a transition of responsibilities. If we are talking about a whole process, a whole understanding, a whole direction, a whole language, we need to be integrated, and it's an integration. So that way, our talk should have the subtitle strategies for an efficient workflow integration between, because sorry, it is in this bridge, in this relationship between developers and designers, where we can struggle and really solve the challenges. We need to make the bridge to be aligned and to have that integration that is useful and necessary for our day-to-day job. Thank you. I'm open to questions and comments and all that.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Carla.
Thank
Here we
you.
are. Thank you so much for this insightful talk. Yeah, I could relate to many of the things you talked about. The need to be the bridge to work together from the start with the designers. It's all things that as developers face every day. And I wanted to ask you a couple of things, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And the first one is, it the best would be to have developers and designers starting to work on the project from the beginning.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't happen? If the designers start early, talk with the customer, and the developers come in when much of the design is already there, or some of it, what are the best practices to make that relationship work anyway,
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
opinion?
Good question. Yeah, I think that not only developers and designers should be aligned, but also product owners, project managers, and all
Mm,
the people involved in that project management should be aware of that relationship and that process that will need to be built together. So we can uh, have the shared understanding between development and designers,
mhm,
but if we are not aligned with also the management team, it will be
mhm,
difficult. So we need to um, start new processes. A common way and a good way to do it is from UX, like we always do, like workshops and the design sprint
mm.
specifically for build a bridge. Like how could we do for make a more efficient workflow between development and UX and designers? Uh, we should do that to make all the team be aware of the importance of that relationship.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question for you, if you don't mind. Thank you for answering this. It's kind of related to the first one. And what I wanted to ask you is, sometimes the designs get updated and developers do not know. And I saw this beautiful thing that you showed us of the
Compare.
changes, comparison between the changes.
Yeah.
And That's great. How can we make the designers remembering to tell developers and developers remembering to tell the designers? Is there any best practice to enforce that comparison to be made to make people not forget of making that kind of thing? Because it's
Um,
beautiful, but in the rush you could forget.
yeah.
What do you think?
In the yeah, you have in like in dev mode, you have the the last updated, the latest updated screens on the top, so you can see it easily. But we always need to make like meetings between design and development as well, like weekly or each every 2 days. I don't
Hmm.
know that it depends on the workflow, but we don't need to follow all the meetings with the whole team. We have to have a relationship between the
Hmm.
teams by itself. I mean, we need to be co-workers, and we need to be working together, collaborating all the time. Where I'm chatting the whole day with the
Yeah.
developers and working with. Um, and apart from the task by itself, we need to have good relationships and have fun as well. And it's
Mm.
important. It's an important part to make good relationships, right?
Yeah. So thank you, and yeah, I think it makes sense having a good relationship. You can easily remember to take care of the
Yeah,
other.
because you
Thank
are thinking
Yeah,
about the other person. You care about that.
yeah, and the needs they have. What about if we are co-workers? What about the case in which the designers from a contractor, say, and the developers from a subcontractor, so they're not the same company. They start working early because they start working with a client, and then the developers come in from another company. Is there any trick to make that relationship, which is a bit farther, more close, in your opinion?
Yeah. Again, it depends mostly on the project manager or the person who manages the relationship between them. Because if they are part of different companies, it's difficult to have even the email or something.
Mm,
So what we can do is to make as designers we can do what we can do is to have a clear documentation that can be explained itself, let's
mm,
say with notes, screens, arrows, and if possible a prototype as well to complement it and to explain it in more way. But um, first is the best thing. If we don't have any other contact, we need to be clear in Figma on the
mm,
documentation. Is
mm,
yeah, the best way, and maybe the the demo like explaining while
mm.
interacting is the best way to if we don't have meetings, we can contact or be aware of what it's built in that way.
Yeah. So if there are different companies involved, it's better to remove the ambiguities as much as possible and have a clear documentation so the relationship can be good because it's minimal.
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
questions should, shouldn't be
Yeah,
much.
right. Thank you. We have a question from YouTube from Narian, who's asking a very technical question actually about Android and the theming for material, which is not working as intended. I think we can make this question broader in this way. Um, do you know if there's any kind of software or tool allowing developers to put some kind of layer above their code to make the passage of values, colors, shapes, pictures from the design to the code faster in
Uh,
cases such as this?
I think that it should be a plugin or something like that.
Hmm.
Check Figma plugins for devs.
Okay.
Um, you have a lot of plugins, useful plugins
Okay.
to solve that kind
So,
of question. Yeah.
so a solution could be to install those plugins and use them in the Figma file in order to get something ready for the developers on, say, iOS, Flutter, and Android, so they can avoid the issues that they might be inputting their hands directly in the theming on the software.
But they
So
don't have the material. I'm not sure I understand the question.
yeah, so what Narayan is asking, I guess, is there if there's any other way other than writing down the theme file for Android, but I guess the same comes from iOS for iOS. If there's any other way, and you said that in Figma there are plugins for pretty much everything, so maybe
Yeah,
there is something that allows to export
yeah,
the
and in dev mode also you have a lot of things to make the code faster, so you can connect with many tools
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah. I
But
I
in
think
any case, the talking to the designer
mm,
about that things should be useful
yeah,
to
because
use
maybe
your designer so that they can
they know.
improve their process.
Yeah. Also, I saw that lately Figma included some code, Android code for Jetpack Compose, some snippets directly in the Figma
Yeah,
file. So I guess that in the next months we could expect it to expand it to the theming if something from Google comes specifically for it.
yeah, I think so.
Looks like there's a lot of synergy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So thank you very much, Carla. It was a great talk and a great experience to share the, the difficult relationship between designers
Yeah,
and developers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time for us in Buenos Aires. And I don't think we'll be waiting for you in person in Droidcon next week, but we can wait for a lot of other attendees from all
yeah,
Italy and abroad to be there. And if you want, you can get a ticket for watching Droidcon Italy online, so you can do that
yeah,
from
yeah.
Buenos
We can do
Aires.
that. Yeah, great.
Yeah. And also this allows you to take a look at the talks later in time, so you don't get bothered with the time zone.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. Okay,
Okay.
many thanks. We'll
Thank
talk
you very
later.
much again.
Here. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. See you next time.
See ya.
Have a
Bye
good
bye.
day.
Have a
And
good day.
thank you everybody for watching. See you at Droidcon Italy next week in Torino.